There he is. I love it. It's over. We're going to be on. Welcome to the Big Ten ACC Challenge presented by Continental Tire. They've been camping outside since Monday morning at 6:30 a.m. 39 hours later, they have filled the Schottenstein Center, and they are ready. And boy, have these stars come out. Jerry Lucas, the National Player of the Year, national champion, and Archie Griffin won the Heisman Trophy twice. And Columbus, Ohio native and heavyweight champ Buster Douglas in the house for this heavyweight fight. Ohio State off to a bit of a bumpy start as you are watching an ESPN Sonic blockbuster. Same cannot be said about Coach K in his final season. He's got a team with toughness to match its talent. 7-0, having beaten #1 Gonzaga, #10 Kentucky. Welcome everyone. We'll hear from Holly Rowe in a second. I'm Carl Ravitch. Jay Billis is here. You're a hell of a lot taller than Jimmy Dykes. We can deal with that. I'll just keep feeding you the ball. This is kind of a new test here for a team that's passed every one of them. What are the challenges for Duke in this building?
Well, it's guarding E.J. Liddell of Ohio State, who's a great player, averaging about 23 points per game, but it's really going to be the road environment. For most of these players, with the exception of Wendell Moore and Joey Baker, they haven't played a true road game. You know, there are fans in here. It's 19,000 people. This place is going to be rocking, and coming off a big game against Gonzaga, they got to make sure they bring the same energy.
You were there to see that Gonzaga game, and it wasn't just Paulo Banchero. It was a whole bunch of other guys that contributed. Wendell Moore has been the most consistent player all year for Duke. And man, Mark Williams, 6 blocks. We should have a block party here. 2 of the leading defensive teams when it comes to block shots in the nation, both Duke and Ohio State. You heard Jay mention E.J. Liddell. He has been outstanding. And coming off a week in which he averaged 25 and a half, 5.5 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Holly Rowe is somewhere over there and probably can't hear a word I'm saying.
I can barely hear you, and that's exactly the point. Duke is coming off one of the biggest games of the college basketball season with Gonzaga Friday night. They've had a quick turnaround, and now here they are in a really loud, crazy building, over 19,000 people. It's sold out, and the student section is right behind their bench. This is going to be a lot for this young team to try to overcome tonight, but they are built for it. We'll see if they can do it.
All right, Holly, thank you. And now we are ready for the tip of our Sonic blockbuster matchup. #1 Duke, just crowned #1 after that win over Gonzaga, taking on Ohio State team that is out of the top 25 for the first time in 25 weeks. Set to jump center, Mark Williams, the key, and it is controlled by Duke. We'll take a look at tonight's Dove Men Plus Care starting lineups. Again, Moore's been the most consistent. Banchero gets all the attention, but Keels is like a linebacker playing in the backcourt. Jeremy Roach will handle as well. They got 4 or 5 great ball handlers. When one rebounds, it's a fast break. Keels, foul line jumper, no good. And the rebound offense tipped back out from Williams, and Duke will control again.
When you can't grab the offensive rebound, tip it back. Mark Williams, excellent at that.
Ohio State will be in a man-to-man, and there's a reach-in, the first foul of the game. Ending up on the floor, Duke player reaching in, picking up the foul. We're going to give the foul to Malachi Branham. That's his first. Wheeler, Branham, Justin Arns, great shooter. Liddell needs some help. Maybe it'll come from the inside presence of Keels, way off with a 3.
Keels has been struggling with his shot. 4 of 20 coming into this game in his last 2. Both he and Jeremy Roach have not shot the ball well, although they have played well. This is the matchup, Liddell versus Banchero.
Fade away. That's too hard, too. And you can tell everybody's a little amped up here in front of almost 20,000.
Liddell guarding Banchero on the other end. He's got to play good defense without fouling.
Williams denies Key the ability to back in. Banchero, the last time we saw him, was cramping up after an unbelievable first half against Gonzaga. With a left and a bucket.
A really good play by Wendell Moore. And you mentioned he's been Duke's most consistent player. I think he's been Duke's best player. He's not their most talented, that's Banchero, but did a smart job of going right back in to Justin Arns. Got past him and drew that contact, went body seeking and still finished that play. And, you know, Carl, Wendell Moore is averaging 18 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, shooting over 50% from the field, almost 2 steals per game. He's the only player in the country averaging over 17, 6, and 6.
Yeah. And he's shooting over 50%. Missed the free throw. Going to be a tough test for Arns to keep Moore off the board. 2-zip just underway. The ACC Big Ten Challenge. And so far dominated by the Big Ten.
This game really for Ohio State, Ravi, is about handling pressure. Can they handle the ball pressure, the contesting of passing lanes, and still run good offense in the half court?
Shot clock was down to about 3, and then the turnover as we take a look at Coach Krzyzewski. Last year, trying to do what has only been done a couple of times. John Wooden, one of those to win a national championship in his last year. Now Banchero out top. He's got a height advantage. Liddell knocks the ball away. And now Banchero turns it over.
Banchero just played with the ball a little bit too much out front. He doesn't need to make moves to get into his move. Just play strong and power it. Just one hard dribble and go. It's just a little mishandling of the ball on that handoff action.
Now McGuire, the other coach, DePaul in '77 to win a championship in his last year. Liddell looks for Arns. He's their best pure shooter. He all the way in the hole. That's a hard take. A good move by Zed Key to get it rolling for Ohio State.
Zed Key starting this game. They had Joey Brunk starting the last couple, but Key gives them a little bit more offense. Really good around the basket.
Into the paint and then right into the traffic.
Good gap pressure there by Jamari Wheeler. Duke has to see a lot of red bodies in this game. Can't just be one-on-one.
Lefty rolls. He had great spin on it. Jeremy Roach, the sophomore out of Leesburg, Virginia.
Jamari Wheeler's got to get his shoe on. They got to inbound it first. His shoe is kind of come off, and there's nothing the referee can do about it.
No, he's looking for some help from Courtney Green. Rob Riley and Bo Borowski are our officials. Key just set a massive screen that caught Roach on the chin. And Chris Holtman's dealing with some pretty significant injuries. A couple of his key players are out. Seth Towns is dealing with a back injury, hopefully back mid-December. Eugene Brown is in the concussion protocol. Maybe the most important guy is Justice Suing, who was in a lot of ways a release valve for this Buckeye team.
Well, Justice Suing transferred in from Cal, and he's a double-figure scorer that can really get to the free throw line. Versatile defender, so not having him in the lineup is really hurtful.
Foul line jumper, that's nothing but the bottom. Good pull up there, and it's 4-4, running ahead and turning the ball over.
Malachi Branham, who knocked down that mid-range jumper, just a freshman. 6'5", long arms, can rip and run. He's got a really good pull-up, as you just saw. But he is going to be a really good player. Just almost a little rub screen. So a screen not really set. You just have to get around that, and it's difficult.
Here he goes again. This time he pulls up off the window. Back-to-back buckets for the former Mr. Basketball in Ohio, who asked Jimmy Jackson if I could wear 22. The number's retired, and he was given 22.
Well, he's off to a good start. That's important for a freshman to get off to a good start in this kind of game.
Roach 3, no good. Good box out that time. Banchero couldn't come down with it. And here are the Buckeyes with a 2-point lead at the 16-minute mark.
A little high-low action.
Key getting good position against the roll.
He went right into the body of Mark Williams, took away his shot blocking ability, and Zed Key is a back-to-the-basket scorer with a 7'1" wingspan that is really powerful, as he's shown thus far in the game. Good start for Ohio State.
Sure is. Had a game winner against Akron opening night. Ohio State's played in a handful of really close games. That's a contested shot. The Buckeyes come away with it. Duke struggling from the floor early. 2 of 6.
Ohio State's defense has been good, very good gap presence, but Duke has to do a better job of getting into the paint and getting to the rim. Can't settle for jump shots in this game.
They keep feeding Zed Key. backing Williams all the way under, and access denied by Williams.
That shows his shot blocking prowess. Blocked 6 shots per 40 minutes.
And they turn that block into a 3-point play by Roach.
Duke is very good in transition. They've got 4 different guys that can grab a rebound and bring it up. So you don't have to outlet it. You're that much faster in the open floor.
Kyle Young getting set to check in for Ohio State. Theo John also on deck for Duke.
Mark Williams is a break starter with his shot blocking ability. Blocked 6 shots against Gonzaga, can really run the floor, and Jeremy Roach needed that one to go down.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Continental Tire. For every surface and every season, Continental Tire has a tire for you. And in part by the Sonic Garlic Butter Bacon Burger, for a limited time only at Sonic. Sonic Garlic Butter Bacon Burger.
Garlic Butter Bacon Burger. You said that well, not as well as I did.
You nailed it.
You said that well.
That's true. Take a look at tonight's Sonic Blockbuster. Duke's ranked #1. Now, all these superlatives in the left side speak to just how successful and great Coach K's been in 42 years. More weeks. He has coached more games and has more wins as a #1 than any coach in NCAA history.
Good job by Wendell Moore to take away Branham's backdoor look. That was designed for a backdoor. And so far, E.J. Liddell has had challenge shots, and he's been fading away from the basket.
Theo John into the game, and that one is too strong. And Caro, who's off 2 to start tonight's game.
Kyle Young did such a nice job defensively. He is a very good player that doesn't get the credit he deserves for how valuable he is to this Ohio State team.
Deflected out of bounds off Wendell Moore into the game. Michi Johnson. He's the freshman out of Cleveland, Ohio. He had a big game winner against Seton Hall. It feels like every time we talk about the short season so far for Ohio State, you're talking about buzzer beaters or getting beaten at the buzzer. They've had 3 just started in the final seconds.
Yeah, 4 of their 6 games came down to sort of one possession, and they lost a tough one to Florida where they turned it over 18 times against Florida's pressure, and that's going to be key in this game.
High Young kick. That 3 is off, and it was off to the right from Jamari Wheeler. Borowski says off a Duke player. It'll be Ohio State basketball.
Jamari Wheeler, number 55, one of the best defenders in the Big Ten, transferred in from Penn State. And he shoots a good percentage from 3. He just doesn't take many of them. He needs to be a more consistent scorer for Ohio State, but he is an excellent defender. That's 2-time all-defensive team in the Big Ten.
Yeah, when Penn State played Ohio State in football, he was seen on the large scoreboard saying beat Penn State, where he spent 4 years. He's heard about that. Great ball fake and the 3. Well, you talk about Jamari Wheeler, and he delivers.
Well, he takes open 3s. That's why he makes a good percentage. But that was a great fake and sidestep, and had plenty of time to shoot it.
Bancaro and Kyle Young.
A good defense by Young. That elbow isolation is difficult to guard, but he's guarded it well.
7 on the shot clock. Penetration, fadeaway, no good. Ball on the rim, and Ohio State rips it down.
There's been a lot of dribbling, not a lot of movement for Duke. Give Ohio State's defense great credit for that.
Kick, open 3, too strong. Good hustle by Liddell.
What a play.
And keeps it alive.
What a play by E.J. Liddell. ISO'd in the post against Theo John.
And 1. It will go to the free throw line. E.J. Liddell's first 2 points tonight.
E.J. Liddell is so difficult to guard because he can take a big guy out on the floor, knock down 3s, but he can turn over either shoulder and shoot that turnaround jumper. And not a lot of players can do that, but does a great job of getting fouled. He shoots close to 7 free throws a game, and he's got to get to the line in this one.
And you talked about it, Holly. That play started with Liddell's hustle to keep that ball alive that was going out of bounds.
Absolutely. And Jay, what you're talking about, he prides himself on being a 3-level scorer. He went to the G League Combine. It didn't have a great experience there. Didn't quite get the feedback he wanted. Knew he had to improve his jump shot, and he's done that. But you see his size and strength down low is still so powerful for him.
Well, his jump shot didn't need improving. I mean, you get that feedback They'll always tell a guy that they don't think is going to be drafted as high as he wants to that you need to improve your perimeter game, you need to improve your perimeter defense. That's a standard thing that they're told. But he's been an excellent shooter his entire career at Ohio State and a great scorer.
Joey Baker, the senior, into the game with a nice layup inside, cuts the lead down to 4.
Liddell was an undersized 5-man when he got here. That's just a great hustle play and a great save and great presence to get it out to Jamari Wheeler. But one-on-one in the post, he's going to be a load to guard. He can face up. He can actually get out of that, just sort of back dribble and take Theo John off the dribble.
Too deep and an easy layup off the window for Trevor Keels, who goes 6'4". And 220 pounds, and that was a bad turnover, and no on the shot off the window from Keels.
Ohio State was lucky there. Nobody was there to get the inbound pass. The guards inbounded, and when there was a miscommunication, Jamari Wheeler would have been better off just taking a 5-second call.
Michi Johnson, that's a turnover, a problem, and here comes Moore. He lays it in.
Well, that's the problem, Ravi, with turnovers is, you can't defend a run out. Now, Ohio State in 5-on-5 has defended very well. When you're not as strong with the ball as you need to, Duke is very good at knocking it away and getting good pressure. Good pass ahead by Paolo Banchero and Wendell Moore. A finish.
It's V Week on ESPN as we continue Jim Valvano's fight against cancer.
Today marks the start of V Week at ESPN, and there's a unique opportunity to support the V Foundation for Cancer Research this year. Now through Thursday at noon Eastern, you can enter a chance to win exclusive prizes from the likes of Coach K, Kevin Durant, Naomi Osaka, and Drake. Really cool way to support an important cause. You can visit the website to learn more. There's our buddy Dick Vitale getting some good news on his scan recently.
No more important week for us than V Week, with all that ESPN does to support the V Foundation. And I think Ohio State needs to try to get a shot for Justin Arns.
Instead, it's Liddell in the paint. Strong, right over the outstretched arm of Theo John.
He combines great strength with really good skill. I mean, he has a beautiful shooting touch.
Well, we may have gotten away with an elbow there. He sort of sent that left elbow out, but John not called, and he gets the bucket.
Well, John always wants to get back to that left shoulder for a right-handed hook, and had really good minutes against Gonzaga, coming in to spell Mark Williams, who was absolutely spectacular in that game. Just a bad pass.
Yeah, it was.
Joey Baker had an arm out in the passing lane. You got to make a pass fake first.
Buckeyes have 5 turnovers early. John going to work there. Pretty play over Liddell with the right hand.
Same move. Going back to that left shoulder.
Going to get a foul on Moore. You see number 1, Jimmy Sotos, is into the game. Due to some injuries, he's getting some more time. Big Ten ACC Challenge. It's the 23rd edition, and tomorrow Louisville takes on number 22, Michigan State. That's game 1, 7:15. Then Hunter Dickinson and Michigan square off against Carolina and Armando Bacot. 2 great matchups on ESPN and the ESPN app. One app, one tap. Young baseline again in the paint, and Ohio State trying to score in the paint. They've done a nice job so far with 8 of their 15 inside the paint. 14 of Duke's 17 have been in the paint.
Well, it's just a difficult shot for Kyle Young in there, having to go over the outstretched arms of Mark Williams, who's just a unique player, just a big-time shot blocker.
Banchero looking for points 1 and 2. That's too strong. He's been a little strong here to start the game. We're at the halfway mark of the first half.
See, Banchero grabs a rebound. He can bring it up himself. 4 different guys on the floor can do that.
Quite a luxury that Coach K has. Banchero got hit. Oh, and he makes the scoop shot off the window for his first 2 of the night and a highlight reel.
Just not a great foul by E.J. Liddell. He was angling him out toward the corner. Just make him make a tough 2. But once he fouled, he stopped. Watch after he fouls, he just stops there and allows him to finish the play. You know, after you make that contact, Go ahead and make sure he can't finish it. Banchero has really improved his shooting since high school. He shot a hard ball as a high school player, and he's gotten more arc in it. It's a much better shot now.
See it right there. And now Duke leads by 5. Banchero's got his first 3 of the night, an 84% free throw shooter. Sotos will bring it up.
1-2-2 3/4 court pressure, and then they trap across half court. You can't pick up your dribble there.
Now he finds an open man. They got numbers here and good hands, but they're going to get a foul on Roach. Reached in, looked like he may have gotten away with it, but Borowski whistled him for a foul.
When you bring the ball across half court against this 1-2-2, if you pick up your dribble, you're toast. But Jamari Wheeler got out of it. Good call on the rake across the arms.
Branham had Key underneath, and then he threw a bad pass to him.
It got tipped. What Ohio State does on those drives is they'll just put a big guy to post right in the middle of the lane. That occupies that middle defender. And then if there's help, you can just drop it off.
Williams is 7 feet. Zed Key is 6'8".
This may be a play you can get for Arns here. Yeah, they didn't run. They usually run a little screen for the screener.
There he is. You asked for the first shot. That was in and out. He was looking for a foul on the arm, and that's a Duke turnover. Good pressure by Young. Caused Roach to lose it out of bounds.
Arns doesn't miss many open shots. He's an excellent three-point shooter. And I think Jeremy Roach thought he was going to get the foul there.
Arns nudged out of bounds by Wendell Moore, and that's Wendell's second foul with 9:18 to go in the first half.
Arns is really good with the shot fake. What he likes to do when he gets it at the three-point line is shot fake, sidestep, and then take that three. But Wendell Moore just went for that shot fake and picked up the foul. Just want to get late pressure on that shot. But because he's such a good shooter, that shot fake, he's got shot credibility in that shot fake.
So Moore goes to the bench. Trevor Keels back in. Well, what a show Keels put on in that opener against Kentucky and Ty Washington. High floater, that one falls. Malachi Branham.
Really used his body well. Branham is going to be, he's a good player now, but just a freshman. Went to St. Vincent St. Mary High School, the same high school that produced LeBron James.
Keels so strong, boy. He went up and bodied a bigger Zed Key right out of the way.
He's basically a football player with great basketball skill. Branham got picked off on that high ball screen. Wasn't called out, and Zed Key's got to be up there. You have to stay connected and make sure you cut that off, because once he turns the corner, he's going to be body seeking, and he'll get to the free throw line. Get fouled. He'll take the shot, get fouled, or both.
Made the free throw off the backboard, then the rim. And it's 23-17 in favor of Duke. Blue Devils have won their 7 games by an average of 21 points. That's a little too strong. And good rebound in traffic by Joey Baker.
One thing with Arns, he cannot be allowed to shoot the ball from the catch spot. He has to be made to put it on the floor. That's obviously easier said than done, but he's not going to hurt you off the bounce. He's going to hurt you from 3.
Good hands. Kept alive. Nice job there by Arns. And then the ball is loose, and Banchero will finish it. Paulo Banchero stole the ball, chased it down, made the basket, and will go to the free throw line.
Great play and awareness by Banchero, but you just have to be stronger with the ball. Branham tried to dribble it instead of just corral it and take it down the other way, and as a result, he winds up putting a teammate, Jamari Wheeler, in a bad spot, who fouled and gave up a bucket too.
Yeah, Wheeler picks up his first. Banchero will be looking for a second three-point play of the night.
Yeah, this game for Ohio State is about possession over position. They were in a position to take the ball down court, but it was more important to have possession of the ball.
They have 6 turnovers, and Key mixing it up with Williams, and they're going to give the foul to Mark Williams.
That's what Ohio State likes to do, is get into high-low situations. They'll get it to Liddell up top. Zed Key ducks in, and he gets so low, it's hard for Williams to keep him out of the lane. Look how he locks him down inside, wound up picking up a foul. Not an easy angle from which to pass the ball.
Each team 5 fouls.
Going back to that box set. Arns oftentimes will set a screen and get a screen, not doing it here.
Tough pass, but it stays Ohio State's basketball with 10 on the shot clock. And E.J. Liddell, that's a good pass to Key. Williams recovers, but a little late, and then he gave up position as at Key.
Great feel by Liddell. He knew exactly where Mark Williams was. He was hunting that block shot from the weak side. He saw that Zed Key was wide open as a result.
Good pass. Williams with a loud retort.
They cleared the middle. Just a simple screen roll up top with a hard roll from Mark Williams. He draws a lot of attention. If you don't give it to him, he's going to do that.
And a tough pass. That one's off the body of Williams. A little thunder and lightning here on both sides.
E.J. Liddell making a great pass because of the feel he has in the post. He could feel that Williams was coming over, saw it, got it to Zed Key, who finished it, and then Mark Williams sets the high screen. One finish deserves another, Ravi.
Yeah, I hear you. That 1987, remember it well in upstate New York. Well, I'm not sure it erases the memory that Boeheim's dealing with.
Yeah, I think he'd trade that one for this one. Just guessing.
Back here, 27-19. Duke started 3 of 9 from the floor, and they've gotten real hot. They are 9 for their last 11, and they've opened up an 8-point cushion.
Boeheim changed his zone for Indiana. It was more of a 1-3-1 configuration, trying to protect the paint a little bit more.
First shot and just into the game, A.J. Griffin. That didn't go well. And now Joey Baker with 3 on the shot clock. Gets it off, high arcer, halfway down.
Good rebound by E.J. Liddell. Boxed out A.J. Griffin.
So how does Ohio State get their points?
Well, they need to do a better job taking care of the ball. They've been good. They haven't been bad offensively, but they've pitched it away a few times, and they need to get shots up every time down.
Key goes with the left hand, and he's been their best, most consistent offensive player.
I think that's 8 points for him,
Yep.
and showing a right hand and a left hand. That's why he's in the game, because he can go one-on-one in the post, and so far he's had single coverage.
And out top is going to be a foul. It's going to be called on Malachi Branham.
Zed Key is so physical and really gets into your body, gets good position, seals really well, and can finish with either hand. He's also speaking of hands, he's the team handyman. He's like the Dwayne Schneider of the Ohio State team. He can fix anything. Just installed a TV for a teammate, changed a battery in his car. Did a good job walling up defensively. He also has a pet snake.
Ooh, well, you had me with all of his abilities in the house. Once we have a pet snake, we're out.
Not interested in it.
No.
He has a python.
Oh, really? Arns gets fouled by Banchero on a 3-point shot.
Yeah, not a smart play. Just want to put late pressure on it. And you've got a player in Justin Arns who's a great shooter that hasn't seen the ball go through the net. Now he gets 3 free throws.
Where do you buy a python?
From a reptile store. I don't have time to educate you on snakes, but I asked him, so his snake, it's a ball python, and its name is 7.
Bald?
Ball
Ball python.
Ball python.
Okay.
They don't get all that big. But I was thinking the name 7 had to come from Seinfeld, from George Costanza, but I'm not sure.
Right.
But when he goes on road trips, he has to leave a little food in there, and I'm sure it's not pleasant for the food.
How's the room? Did you get into the roommate? His feeling about the snake?
I don't think a roommate that if your roommate has a snake, I don't think you say much. You certainly don't want to have a pet mouse if your roommate has a snake.
You wouldn't have that very long, I don't think.
Duke's had great success driving and getting into the lane. Good help by Kyle Young there.
Roach now tries going to the corner. That's a tough shot, running and fading away. And it's a miss for Wendell Moore. Not a chance, down 5 to cut it. And Arns just lost it. Ooh.
Jeremy Roach got a hand on the ball. Arns did a good job. Wendell Moore has got 2 fouls, and he had an angle on him, decided to take advantage of that, see if he could pick up number 3 or get something easy as a result. Ohio State's got to do something to free up Arns. They like to set, bring him around with a little fade screen, but he needs to get some open looks.
Jamari Wheeler just literally handed the ball away, and then either he or Young committed a frustration foul. 9th turnover. As we remind everybody of the ACC Big Ten Challenge or Big Ten ACC Challenge for the women with Michigan at number 10 Louisville. That's 12 and 10, 7 Eastern time. And then Duke against number 9 Iowa. Cameron indoor, both games. ESPN, the App One Tap, 7 and 9 o'clock Eastern time on Thursday.
Louisville's got a good team. Kiana Smith is their best player. Shoots 42% from 3. Emily Engstler, really good three-point shooter, their top rebounder. He's shooting over 50% from 3.
Look at you. And you have the Louisville men tomorrow night.
Yeah, I've got Louisville and Michigan State in the Breslin Center. In the Izzone.
Coach Izzo down in the Bahamas with Jimmy Dykes. It's a good team. Gabe Brown has tremendous hops. Talk about playing with energy.
Yeah, you had Jimmy Dykes hanging out with sea lions.
And that was uncomfortable, but better than snakes. Certainly pythons. I did. I did miss the Elvis. I wish we could bring that back.
Oh, we will.
Liddell 3, good.
That was a deep ball, and that's what E.J. Liddell can do. He can take Theo John away from the bucket and create some space.
He bangs with Kyle Young. He fades away. Young keeps it alive. And into the corner, Banchero knocks it down. That's a 3-ball.
Ohio State was looking to go on the break. Justin Arns was turning the other way before they had secured the ball. All 5 guys have to stay in rebound. They didn't. It cost them a 3.
A foul out top on Trevor Keels. The 50-50 ball so far being won by Duke.
Well, if you're going to get a 50-50 ball, you got to stay around to get it.
Yeah.
And the instinct to go the other way. Now watch when this. Oh, this is E.J. Liddell, the deep 3. He's got Theo John on him. John had to give him a little bit of space so Liddell wouldn't drive it. And that space is all E.J. Liddell needs. I mean, he is an excellent three-point shooter. He shoots over 41% from 3. Excellent offensive rebounder, and he's a terrific shot blocker. He blocks about 4 shots a game.
Michi Johnson gets a chance for the free throw and misses it. Here's a 50-50 ball. That's deflected. Well, Chris Holtman said that should have been our ball.
It looked like Cedric Russell got the transfer from Louisiana. Russell's a really good shooter. Hung 26 on Baylor playing for Louisiana.
He wears number 2. Senior guard, 6'2", 190.
Just got a shot of Chris Holtman there, who's, I think, one of the finest young coaches in the game. Started his career coaching at Gardner-Webb and then was an assistant to Brandon Miller when Brandon had to leave the game, and Holtman took over for him. He is just an outstanding young coach.
This is Banchero, free throw line extended. He dribbled right into that shot, and he's warming up now in double figures.
Got a switch, had Zed Key on him. And I think he can go by Key, but that shows the improvement that Banchero's made in his shooting. Key was wide open.
So that's going to be a foul on Banchero. He ended up hitting Young in the face. As they said in The Hangover, not up in here, in the face.
Paolo Banchero is a big-time player. Not a lot of 6'10" guys are going to have that kind of shake.
So of course you started, Duke. Is there an old school feel to this team?
Well, with the way they're defending, it's new school in how athletic they are and versatile, but it's old school in that they're getting more ball pressure, they're getting out in passing lanes more. But Ohio State has 8 turnovers, and I think if you're in the Ohio State film room, they would say, hey, you know, these turnovers weren't forced.
Yeah, pretty drive and a lay-in from Moore.
Yeah, just too big of an angle there. You know, you're trying to take away. I think they were expecting a ball screen, but it just opened up the lane, and it was an easy straight line drive for Wendell Moore. This is a big 4 minutes, Ravi, for Ohio State. They got to cut into this lead and not let Duke increase it as they go into halftime.
Barnes contested right on, halfway down and out. Young had an offensive rebound, and it went out of bounds on him. One other thing to look at, too, free throws, Ohio State's missed 5 of them, and that's 5 points they could have had. Been a lot closer.
Yeah, that's too easy of an angle. You know, you have to stay straight up on the ball, and you get a straight line drive right down the middle. And you can't let Duke go down Main Street. They've gotten too many points in the paint for Chris Holtman's liking.
Barnes goes to the bench. He's 0 for 3. All 3 of those were 3-point field goal attempts.
That's an offensive foul.
Yep, he lowered that shoulder.
And his 3rd.
Paolo Banchero will come out of the game with 3 minutes to go and 3 fouls.
He just lifted up that right arm. The fulcrum. Good position. Just gave that little bump with that right arm and knocked Kyle Young off balance.
Hey, watch it. You run into Banchero at 6'10", 250, or Keel 6'4", 221.
You're going to feel it.
You're going to feel it. Three-pointer needed, and they've got a big three-point shot. Cedric Russell.
Yeah, we talked about Cedric Russell, his ability to shoot the ball.
Look out. He passed it over there to Wendell Moore. He wasn't ready for it. Ohio State said he had a presence in the front court and ended up having it deflected into the back court.
You have to have both. You have to have your body and the ball over for it to be an over and back.
Keel's ball fake. Too strong.
Ohio State's got to stay down on these fakes. That was not a shot you needed to leave the floor for. When you're a defender, especially on a jump shot, you always want to be second to leave the floor.
Reach in on Williams. Williams has 2 fouls.
Ohio State has to start making its free throws.
1 of 6.
They've had a number of opportunities to knock down free throws, and they'd be right close to Duke. And Zed Key is not a great free throw shooter. I think they're going to take a look and see if there was a little stray elbow after that foul. I don't think it was anything, but the officials feel they need to look at it. So after the foul, watch Zed Key. Was this? If your arms are more up than out, I don't know that any contact was made. It looked like it was a grazing blow. It's not going to be anything.
As we were told today, this is a very attentive Ohio State crowd with regards to basketball, given Michigan's win against Ohio State moves Michigan into the college football playoffs. A lot of times on this campus, they're waiting for football to end, which means, you know, college football playoff, maybe a championship. Here, you got a crowd really looking forward to seeing as Key misses the first free throw.
Well, I don't see how Ohio State can eliminate the letter M. They can take an entire letter out of the alphabet. You can see every M on campus has an X through it. But if anything happens to you tonight, Ravi, I'd be happy to take you to the Edical Center.
Get any edical attention I need.
They've got a good Edison program here at Ohio State.
Ooh, not fouled and falling to the ground after he shot it was Roach.
Really, this game has come down to Ohio State to turnovers and free throws.
Yep.
Take care of the ball, make your free throws, you have a chance to win.
Liddell 7 points. Held in check coming off a week in which he averaged 25.5. 10 on the shot clock, another long three. That's too strong.
Good box out by Theo John on Zed Key.
Good take, and he went with that right hand, had some spin. Wendell Moore
is so strong going to the basket. That's been a big difference in his game this year, has been his strength. He's such a great leader. I'm not sure there's anybody in America having a better year than Wendell Moore is having.
Last time a #1 team came into this building, Michigan State, 2018. Ohio State wasn't ranked, and they beat them. Happen again tonight? NBA Friday doubleheader tips off your weekend on ESPN and the app. Joel Embiid and the Sixers, Trae Young and the Hawks, 7:30 Eastern Time. And then Paul George and the Clippers square off against the Lakers, who are sitting at 11-11 at the Staples Center. Our coverage card starts NBA countdown at 7 Eastern Time.
Duke in a little 2-3 zone after the timeout. Give Ohio State a little bit of a different look.
Turn around and shot. Free throw line, no good. Young could have grabbed that. Instead, he tried to slap it out. And here comes a pretty lay-in. Boy, Jeremy Roach, it was 1-on-2, and he kept going.
And give credit to Wendell Moore for the great pass ahead and the creative finish with the left hand by Jeremy Roach. Duke is really dangerous in transition. Just a typical rebound off a missed shot. They turned it into a layup on the other end.
Liddell one more time. Tough pass, good hands from Young, and here they go again. Roach,
Smart
Baker, got it.
That is a smart pass by Jeremy Roach. Didn't have it with the three that were coming down, so just took a little back dribble and gave it to Joey Baker coming down for the step-in three. That's a really smart play.
JB, this was 27-22, and Ohio State had the ball trailing by 5. It's now a 14-point lead and a last-second shot. It'll be Key. No good. Liddell, that will not count. He did not get it off in time. A 7-0 run to end it. And the Blue Devils, who started 3 of 9, end up 18 of 34, shooting 53%.
I don't know what they're looking at there. There's no way that E.J. Liddell got that off in time, unless they're looking at something else.
Moore and Banchero each with 10 points in the half.
They must be making some sort of, I'm not sure whether it's a foul call or. Unless they're saying that Trevor Keels might have fouled him, but he didn't get the shot off, so the shot can't count.
That's right. Was the foul call before the shot clock?
Yeah, that's the issue.
Ended.
Was the foul committed?
And the half ended.
Yeah, was the foul committed? Boy, this is really unusual to have a call like this.
Yeah, watch the official's hand go up there. I see zeros on the clock.
And he counted the basket, but there's no way that basket counts.
Is that the foul?
Yeah, the foul.
That's close.
The foul was committed maybe with .1.
Yeah.
But he didn't get it off, so the basket cannot count. The question is, does he have 2 free throws here? I don't think that's a really interesting position to be in. I mean, I thought the foul was at .1, but I don't know how they determine that unless they can slow it down to a stop.
We had a situation in the Bahamas, Jay. Clock winds down. Player shoots a half-court 3. gets fouled. Half ends. Free throws given to him because he was fouled in a similar situation. Point one, had he not been fouled and had Liddell not been fouled, the shot wouldn't have counted if it went in. Yeah, we had the exact same situation where the official came over and said the funny part was if he hadn't been fouled, the shot wouldn't have counted, even if it went in. In Liddell's case, it went in, but it wouldn't have counted if there was no foul. But the foul occurred before the half ended.
Yeah, Bo Borowski was kind enough to come over and give us the interpretation that the foul was committed at point one by rule. There are 2 free throws. The basket doesn't count, and another missed free throw by an outstanding, good free throw shooter in E.J. Liddell. The free throw line is killing Ohio State in this game.
7 points.
2 for 9.
Yep, 7 points. So point one, what we're calling timeouts. Bates Jones,
who was a quarterback in high school,
must have been, and that was nearly deflected in by Moore. Big time finish for Duke at the end of the first half. Wendell Moore been leading them all season, and Paulo Banchero each with 10. Liddell 22.5 on the season, only 8 tonight. Here's Holly.
Well, Coach, your team's been right in this game except for the turnovers and not hitting the free throws. How do you address that at the half?
Well, turnovers we can correct. Free throws, they just got to relax a little bit, and we've got a good shooting team. They got to relax and step up and make them. I thought we had some unforced errors. Give their defense credit, but we had some unforced errors.
Yeah, their defense is big and long. How can you execute better in the half court against that size?
We got to move them more than what we're moving them right now. We got to play through the paint a little bit more and be a little more physical on our catches.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Holly. Arns just 1 point, 0 of 3 from 3. 9 turnovers, and the Blue Devils at 7-0, up 13. Keep halftime report. Big Ten ACC Challenge. It's presented by Continental Tire. Fan base is certainly into it, but right now it is Duke leading 43-30. A 7-0 run to close it out, and they pounded the ball into the paint, and as a result, they outscored Ohio State 28-12. Scored a whole bunch of points off turnovers. Ohio State missed a whole bunch of free throws, and that's why they're down 13. You are watching an ESPN Sonic Blockbuster. 7-0 to start the season, and perhaps on their way to an 8-0 start. Duke winning by an average of 21. Well, it's easy to see what Duke's really good at. What does Ohio State have to improve on to make it a game? And it was a 5-point game. They had the ball late.
Well, Ohio State shot 48% in that first half. Yeah. It's not like when they got a shot, they were missing them all. They missed a ton of free throws. Obviously, that's an issue. They got to start making those. But I think it comes down to just moving the ball more and running harder through your cuts and being stronger with the ball for Ohio State. This is a good basketball team. Mm-hmm. But when you run through cuts and are strong with it, I agree with Chris Holtman. There have been way too many unforced errors.
Liddell, 8 points. Holly?
Well, guys, I caught up with Duke assistant coach Sean Shire, and he was really pleased with their energy and productivity. Number one, those 28 points in the paint, but 5 steals, 9 turnovers forced. And guys, 13 points off those turnovers is really the difference in this ball game right now. But he is concerned a little bit about the foul trouble. Paulo Banchero will play in the second half of those 3 fouls. He said he's going to have to play through it. We need him out there. We've got to eliminate the silly kind of ticky-tack fouls on the perimeter. A couple of guys got in trouble with that.
Underway with the second half of our Sonic Blockbuster matchup. And out of the break, first shot missed by the Buckeyes. Good pass down low, and from behind the block.
Jump ball. That shows the amazing timing of E.J. Liddell. He's so long-armed. But watch how he comes from behind here and gets it with his right hand. That's just all ball. Averaging about 4 blocks per game, and it's not like he's a 7-footer. Wendell Moore had a great first half at 10 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and starts off the second half as well as he played in the first. He has turned into a great player.
He was the player of the week last week. Leads the ACC in assists. And you heard about his voice and the message that was sent with about 12 minutes to go. That Gonzaga game, he took over that huddle. And when your players take over, that's a huge sign, and he did. One thing I've noticed about Duke here, too, anytime off of a made basket, they are down the other end shooting within about, or at least with a chance to shoot within about 5 seconds.
Well, it's because their big guys run. I mean, Mark Williams, that was a great rim run, and Zed Key was just late getting there. That puts a lot of pressure on opposing big guys to really run the floor and can wear them out.
It happens time and time again. 15-point lead inside. Pretty left-handed move by Zed Key.
With one-on-one in the post, just a little shake, and then back to that right shoulder with the left hand. He can shoot that little short hook with either hand.
Wendell Moore said he liked his matchup. Arns blocked the first one. He stuck with it. And Moore 4 to start the second half.
Well, he's going to take Arns on every opportunity. Duke has been driving the ball, and they need to see more red bodies because right now it's been one-on-one, and they're beating their man.
Liddell. That's blocked. Williams picks up another one. He's got a couple in this game off a game in which he had a half dozen.
Well, he got that one basically picking up Liddell after he got by Paolo Banchero. But look at this rim run, because that's really smart and difficult to do for a big guy, but he runs the floor so effectively after a make or a miss.
Banchero plays with 3 fouls. Lane was open and no goaltend. Williams went up like in slow motion. He met the basketball far above the rim on its way down.
Well, that's not all bad. I mean, you obviously give up a bucket, but you also announce that you're here.
Buckeyes need a stop. 49-36. Moore again. No. Off the front iron.
A little zoom action, a little screen into a handoff, and that was a difficult shot for Wendell Moore.
Kyle Young, he throws up a hook, and that may very well have been affected by the prior block. He got rid of that so quick, aware of the ability of Williams to block it. Banchero, no good. Young over Williams. That's better. Knocks down a 3. Pulls him within 10.
Kyle Young is an improved shooter, an excellent roller in pick and rolls, and he just plays so hard.
In the paint, Roach again, and they have owned the paint tonight.
Duke gets the ball down court so quickly. Of the teams I've seen this year, Duke and Gonzaga are the best in transition.
Something Mark Few said, it's one of the few teams that can match our speed.
And they pass ahead so well. It's not just the fact that they run with it, they pass ahead. And the ball moves faster than you can move.
Roach, not only did he commit the foul, he then got landed on. And Kyle Young goes 6'8", 225. That's Roach's second.
A little mismatch just went right through his arm. And when that arm was on him, he's going to pick up that contact. But Justin Arns has not seen the ball. I mean, he can't get an open shot.
Tried there, and he released it quickly, and that one finds the bottom.
Coming off a screen to the ball, ready to shoot. He needs to get going.
Lead is 9. Williams too deep, and that's going to be a foul. Liddell knew he was going to commit that and not allow Williams to lay it up and in.
Kyle Arns just gets a double screen, the second one coming from Young, and he comes off that thing ready to fire. That lefty, I mean, all of his offense comes to the three-point line. Yesterday to the press, Justin Arns was saying, I think the cat's out of the bag with me. I'm a three-point shooter.
Yep.
Well, guys, Justin Arms comes by that shot pretty naturally. He said his older brother Kyle used to just drag him to workouts. He said, I didn't ever want to go, but he would drag me and my little twin brother AJ, and we used to just pray for times like this. Look at his tweet as he hugs his brother when they faced Michigan State as opponents. He said, I wouldn't be where I am today if my older brother didn't force me into do it. And he said, I just really think it's important that I kept working. At first I didn't want to be there, but then I wanted to. And look at this pretty shot. Actually, the student has surpassed the master, though. And look at those career three-point numbers, 42%. That is pretty good form.
Sure is. And that's going to be a turnover. It went off Liddell. Yeah, the Arms brothers, the Hauser brothers, a whole bunch of brother combinations. I'm sure a big brother said, no, you are coming. I know you don't want to, but you're coming.
Usually the little brother wants to tag along. Little horn set up top, and then a quick post up for Banchero. Just give it to him, he's open.
Liddell with 2 fouls. Down in the air, and he blocked Banchero. And here comes Ohio State. Good defense.
His timing is absolutely exquisite. It is hard to block a shot on the ball. It's one thing to have a weak side shot block. It is tough to block him on the ball.
Yeah, Arms fading away from deep, and he comes up short. Roach, tough shot, no good. And there's a 50-50 ball deflected by Banchero off Arms. Duke with it and a 3. Liddell, he will hold off, and the foul is going to be called on Theo John.
Ohio State is trying to dribble that ball when it's loose. You got to grab it first. Paolo Banchero going up for a jumper, and E.J. Liddell, the rejection.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Sonic Garlic Butter Bacon Burger for a limited time only at Sonic. Halftime entertainment. Crowd was on his feet.
That's how you go after a loose ball, Ravi.
Yep.
You grab it. He's not trying to dribble that frisbee. This is not a way to stay healthy, I would say. I'm surprised somebody hasn't put a red X over that while we're here. Duke going to put some full court pressure on Ohio State, make it difficult for them to advance it, get some non-handlers to try to handle it.
So Moore and Jamari Wheeler go chest to chest. Such a physical Duke team this year.
Well, they're athletic at every position.
They make you work for everything.
And they can switch 1 through 4.
They got it to E.J. Liddell. He goes hard to the hole. Double team. Fade away. Oh, we get a foul on the arm. Theo John extended that hand. And they got the arm. That's 3 on John.
Liddell just got an angle, stopped, gave a little fake, and he did catch him on the arm.
Well, Liddell also struggled from the free throw line. The team is only 3 of 10, and he missed 2 in the first half. And he misses another one. Holly?
Well, guys, one of the reasons E.J. Liddell ended up here at Ohio State is he grew up loving Ohio State football. He actually played football through the 8th grade, and he said, basketball chose me. I just decided I wasn't going to be a football player. He said, I was a chubby kid. I had a natural football body, but I just was too skilled at basketball, and he decided to focus all his efforts here. But he's got a little toughness to him. You see him sometimes in the low post. Looks a little footballish.
Sure does. So does the entire Duke team. There's a turnover. And 2 more missed free throws. Now 3 of 12. Ohio State. And too much dribbling, and the ball on the floor. Kicked. And the run out. Liddell with a block. Roach had it. He gets it blocked.
Ohio State with a rare run out.
3-on-1. 3-pointer from the corner is an air ball. But they have had opportunities.
But when you get a 3-on-1, mean, it's not that that was a bad shot, but you'd rather attack the basket and get something easy. I mean, Ohio State's only down 11, and with all the free throws they've missed, the turnovers, not being as strong with the ball as they need to, I mean, they'd be right there.
And I agree with you, but isn't the game today now? How many 2-on-1s have you seen where one would peel to the three-point line and he ends up getting the ball and you're shooting a three?
Well, oddly enough, when you attack the basket, it actually opens up the three-point line even more. But I think when you get a layup, you take a layup.
23rd annual Big Ten ACC Challenge continues tomorrow. Louisville takes on number 22 Michigan State. Our first game at 7:15, and then Hunter Dickinson and Michigan square off against North Carolina. Two really good matchups. ESPN, the ESPN app, one app and one tap. That shot missed. Williams will pick up the foul. Williams has three now. A whole bunch of Duke players now with 2 or 3 fouls. John's got 3. Banchero's got 3. Williams has 3.
Cedric Russell back into the ball game. The transfer from Louisiana knocked down a 3 in the first half. He's a really good shooter. If they can spring him. You know, Ohio State just needs to string together a couple scores, couple stops, get the crowd back into it. There's still a long way to go in this game, and they are only down 11.
Ted Key had a good first half, and now he's one-on-one with a shot blocker. Williams over him, does not get the roll, and Williams rips it down.
Whenever there's one-on-one in the post, Ohio State's been standing and watching. There's not a lot of cutting or screening off the ball.
Banchero, that's too strong. Many of his shots tonight have been a little strong, a little long. Will he develop the three-pointer? He takes a lot of the mid-range twos. Will he continue to try to develop a three-point shot or no?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. He's got a good touch.
Yeah.
But his game has to continue to be to attack. He's so good off the dribble. I think when he eliminates some of the extra dribbles he has and just becomes more of a power player than a finesse one, he'll be even better.
Shot blocked by Roach, and here comes Ohio State. 2-on-1. Arns, 3-ball. Will get it. Well, it took a while to go down, but it does, and they're back within 6, and the crowd is back into it here at the Schottenstein Center.
Ohio State with another block from E.J. Liddell. Meechie Johnson attacks the basket. That's where the 3 comes from. Arns knocks it down over Williams. Ohio State back in it.
Jay Billis, Carl Rabbit, 53-47, 12:31 to go. Ohio State 50% from the field in the second half, 7 of 14. You see Duke has not scored in the last 3:49, 0 for 7. And they are 4 for 15 this half. Ohio State starting to make some threes. That was a big one there by Arns that rattled around and went down. And it's a new ball game, 6 points.
Ohio State got it off of a turnover. And Duke, after the timeout, going with a low cross screen for the screener, get it into Williams down low.
Williams, really difficult shot. That's to the left side of the rim. And since Russell's come into the game, team has looked a little different.
Well, they've rallied to the ball really well, and Duke can't settle for jump shots, but give Ohio State credit. They are battling.
Williams back down. Left-hander, a little too strong.
Well, it's tough to shoot over Mark Williams. No, but even when the ball goes in there, Ohio State still needs some action off the ball. Russell could have set a little fade screen for Arns there to bring him back to the ball and be more of a threat.
Banchero aggressive. It looked like Key will say he went straight up and didn't come down with the hands, but the foul on Zed Key will send Banchero to the line to shoot a couple. 53-47. Banchero already with 10.
as Paolo Banchero has been this season. Cramps have been an issue for him in 2 of the biggest games, first against Kentucky and then later against Gonzaga in that game on Friday. He said in the press conference, "This has never happened to me before." So they have gone to the scientists. Dr. Jeff Potomsky has actually done a sweat test on Paolo to analyze his tests, and you can see him here. He is a heavy sweater. He loses about 7 pounds per game, so they're having him drink a special fluid called BOA. It's an oxygenated fluid that will actually absorb immediately once it goes in his mouth to help him not have cramps. This is a very unusual issue, but they are all over it, and I love the sports science helping keeping their big man on the floor.
All about the science, Solly. Thank you very much. 7 pounds a game.
Yeah, he dropped 7 pounds in a game, and it's remarkable. Jeff Potomsky, the team doctor, the analytics they have on all the players and what it takes them in recovery to get back to where they started. I mean, they have a plan for what Paolo Banchero has to drink after every practice and what he had to drink today and eat. It's pretty remarkable. There used to be a plan on what Bill Raftery drank, but it was vastly different.
Alley-oop, good pass. Banchero found Williams. Really good pass.
Just lifted up the defense, and then Williams rolls hard to the basket. And you can throw it as high as you want, and he seemingly can go get it.
Little 4-0 run, Jay, back to 10.
Joey Baker right there on the catch with Arns so that he can't catch and shoot.
Key Williams has 3 fouls and now triple teamed.
Good pass.
Russell wide open. 3.
That's just a great pass, and Liddell was strong with it. It got knocked away, but he didn't let him take it away. That's a big bucket for Ohio State. Now they need to stop. They love to isolate Banchero on this left elbow.
More on Arns. Tough shot inside the paint. Arns had it. Williams picks up his 4th foul.
Arns did a good job of sticking with it. Moore got an angle, but Arns did not give up on the play. Boy, he went after that rebound with both hands. He just used that elbow to get past, couldn't make it, and then Arns went up with both hands for that rebound in a crowd.
Some foul concerns for Duke right now as Williams goes to the bench with 4. Theo John, who takes his place, has 3.
And without Williams in the game, even though Theo John can block shots, I mean, he led the Big East in block shots when he was at Marquette. I think you have to really attack the rim here.
Russell does so. Not good. And Banchero clears. And he dribbled into traffic, able to keep it alive. Roach will not pull the trigger. He'll start over with 20 on the shot clock. Keels has been quiet tonight. 2 of 7, 5 points. So he throws a high hook shot off the window. Roach, that's off, and this time Young comes away with it. And Ohio State pushes. Arns, not that time. Liddell came over everybody, and he may be banged up.
Went down hard. Well, he was high up there.
He was.
Well, Arns does not need much time to get that shot off.
Substitution into the game for the Buckeyes, number 23, Seth B. Also entering the game, number 22, Malachi Branham.
Russell will go to the bench. Malachi Branham back in. Also to the bench, Michi Johnson.
And this game is about getting stops for Ohio State. They've had opportunities. A horn set that's 2 up top, 2 deep in the corner.
Baker, tough fadeaway. That's an air ball.
Oh, that is not a good shot. And Justin Arns has to stop going for that little ball fake. It opened up the middle. And Baker's not going to go baseline on that.
Key will work.
Good cut.
On John, he's got 3. Look to get it right back. Instead, he moves off it. 10 on the shot clock. Arns, right hand, no good. Rebound, no by Key. A rare drive from Justin Arns.
Got a switch.
Banchero.
Just a tough shot. I mean, Duke is settling for some really difficult shots right now. It's 2 in a row.
5 for 22 this half. Duke, they've missed 17 of their 22 shots.
And Ohio State has tightened up its defense. It's not allowing as many middle drives. And that's really what the Ohio State defense wants to do. Make Duke take tough twos. And the last several possessions, that's been the result.
Strike you, they've missed 17 shots. They're 5 of 22, and yet they still lead by 7. It's like they can't get closer than 7, 5. They're stuck there.
Well, they can't string buckets together. I mean, they've had opportunities, and they've turned it over again. You get a little bump. I mean, Branham just got a little bump there and lost control of the ball. It's about. I mean, it's easy to say, but it's about being strong with the ball. That wasn't a turnover that was forced. That was a turnover that was unforced.
It feels like Duke has given Ohio State so many opportunities. They try to double team Banchero. He dribbles right out of it. The hard drive, and there's a block by Key. I thought Banchero may have rolled an ankle as he rolled to the hoop. He didn't get great explosiveness on his jump, but Key is whistled for the foul. Banchero will shoot 2 when we come back in a 7-point game. As many of you know, today is Giving Tuesday, a global day of giving. It's also the launch of ESPN's V-Week. We can all be a part of something really big today by supporting cancer research, which is needed now more than ever. If you're able, give now at v.org/donate. 100% of what you give goes to cancer research.
That's really one of the amazing things of the V Foundation is every penny that you give goes directly to the bottom line. It goes to cancer research. And so your money is well spent. And our good friend and colleague and legend Dick Vitale battling lymphoma right now, and always sending our best and our love to Dickie V.
Good news on the scans. And he's feeling good, a little tired, which is to be expected doing his travel, but got a chance to see him when he first returned, and you recognize again how impactful he is. In a lot of ways, college basketball. Duke's second half, they started 4 of 8 since 1 of 14, but they've only turned it over 1 time. Key got it down low, and he hesitated, but we're going to get something on John here. And now John and Williams each with 4 fouls.
Nice adjustment after the timeout. Ohio State lifted up Duke's defense and opened up the middle. And a little hesitation. John just came right over his shoulder.
Now, this has been the Achilles heel for Ohio State. Free throw shooting. Boy, that was long from the release.
Well, Zed Key's like a 51% free throw shooter. He's not proficient at the line, but everybody has joined in the act of missing free throws for Ohio State. If they knock these down, we're looking at a different ball game. But still, it's within reach. There is a long way to go.
59-51. And they made their free throws. They'd have the lead here. 4 of 14. They've missed 10 of them. That ball is good. 3-pointer, kind of a quieter from Keels.
Well, Keels had struggled shooting the ball. He hadn't struggled in other aspects of the game, but he was 4 of 20, only 2 of 12 from 3 in his last 2 games coming in.
Caught up in the air and able to get rid of it in time. Now with 10 on the shot clock, the baseline drive, reverse. Good play. And a hard take by Malachi Branham.
Yeah, strong move. He's had a good game overall.
Moore with Key forcing him out. Banchero opts not for the 3. The drive, no good. Loose ball. It's the Buckeyes.
Ohio State can have numbers if they get a ball down the floor.
Did John just pick up his 5th foul?
He did. He got in a wrestling match underneath with Key.
So John is out of the game, and Williams is going to come back in with 4. This is a big story in this game.
John just got both arms wrapped around him. Referee standing right there.
So now Liddell the next to try the whole free throw. Zed Key, I should say. And Zed is 2 for 4. The last one kind of sat on the rim before it rolled in. A little more arc that time, and it finds the bottom. Sophomore out of Bayshore, New York. A lot better that time. And the lead is 7 for Duke. Yeah, that's a travel. Keels took an extra step. And a turnover by Duke.
Give credit to Jamari Wheeler. Was right there on the catch, made the catch difficult, and then recovered. He's such a good defender. Now Ohio State's starting to feel like they have a little bit of mojo, but you got to follow up a stop with a score.
Three seniors, 6 grad transfers on this Buckeye team. They are an old group. Key in the lane, no good. Battles for it, kept alive, but it's Duke. So there's a chance, down 7, and they didn't convert.
A strong take by Wendell Moore. Now that was just by Ohio State, a little cross screen by Justin Arns for Key, and then he was going to get a screen for the screener action. But Williams was there to challenge at the rim and make it difficult. He's such a presence near the rim. Even if he doesn't block it, you know, this needs to be more like hockey, where you get hockey assists, and then it'd be nice if you could count shot changes in addition to shot blocks.
8 times Ohio State has beaten a #1 team while they were unranked, the most of any school, and young. It shows you again how strong Wendell Moore is.
Well, and how smart. You know, that was a smart play because he had an angle to just go into his body. Watch how he jumps into him and creates that contact. That's body seeking. And just a really smart play by Wendell Moore.
How has his body changed?
Well, it's funny. He's changed his gait, actually. Coach K was telling me that he noticed that he was walking with his toes out. So they actually did work with their, I don't know what they call it, physiology, but they changed the way he walks and the way he runs from last year to this year. And he is much more athletic, according to Coach K, and he's actually standing taller. And the results are pretty clear. I mean, he's averaging 18 a game, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, almost a couple of steals, and it is hard to think of a game that Duke has played where he has not had an excellent floor game, and his leadership has been fantastic.
I should try that. Then the open shot would have me rather than 3 feet shorter than you, just maybe 2.5.
Anything to make you taller, I think you should do.
Would be good. Key in the paint, puts it in.
He's just getting deep position, and when you can post deep enough where you don't have to make a post move, you've done a great job, and Zed Key just did a great job against Mark Williams.
And already 1 has fouled out for Duke. Williams with 4. Another play by Moore.
He's just going to take on Justin Arns whenever he's on him. Just turns the corner. There was no weak side help. You have to load to the ball.
Now Key trying to get position again. They threw Williams out of the way, and they missed that call. 10 on the shot clock.
Good defense by Moore.
They get into Williams, and another tough shot over Williams. Said Key. You see the game plan's pretty simple. Try to get Williams his 5th foul.
Well, the advantage goes to the man that plays lower. The shoulders lower, and Zed Key has won that battle the last few times down the floor. Deep position, deep enough so you don't have to make a post move. And then the great job of getting the angle and spinning away from the contact.
Our game, Sports Center, SVP, Big Ten, ACC. The top moments, the reaction. Reese Davis will join the show, talk about the new rankings and the coaching shakeups and the bad beats leftovers. Brian Kelly. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish open up next year's college football season right here against Ohio State. So they'll have a new coach when they take on the Buckeyes next year. Zed Key now has scored the last 6. He's got 20.
And let's be honest, Reese Davis is not on SportsCenter to talk about the college football playoff. They want his hair on television for ratings.
Foul. Keels will go to the line to shoot 2.
Trevor Keels opened up the season with 25 points against Kentucky. And he may only be 18 years old, and legally he's an adult, but he is a man. That is one strong guy.
Got a tattoo on his shoulder blades, Keel Mode, which he says is about being yourself, but being in attack mode at the same time. And we've seen that through the course of this season. He rattles that one home. Well, you know, Ohio State knocking on that door, but they get about 6 or 7 down and cannot get any closer. Theo Johns fouled out. Williams, the big fella in the middle, plays with 4 fouls. Russell, mistake, but he got away with it. And the alley-oop, no! He went with one hand, did Zed Key, and he missed the entire basket.
Opportunities missed. Wendell Moore off of, or actually it's Keels and Moore going off of low block screens.
No good, Ohio State. They have numbers. And we are under 3:40 here in the game. Zed Key looked at Arns and said, nope, not yet.
Williams doing a nice job of getting around in front.
Lane was wide open, easy layup, and Key set a big screen, and Wheeler had an open lane. Now it's 5.
And we talked about that earlier, how they ducked into the lane to open up that driving lane.
And Coach K wants to talk it over. As close as they've been all night. 66-61 with 3:20 to go. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Continental Tire. For every surface and every season, Continental Tire has a tire for you. They've won every game by 21. They're being challenged tonight 7-0. The Blue Devils will be back leading by 5. Game Track brought to you by Fairlife. Field goals, Duke has been held in check. Second half, 27%. They're 7 of 26. We've avoided saying it most of the second half, but it's quite clear the key for Ohio State has been Zed Key with 20, a career high. Wendell Moore, 17, 8, and 5. Foul trouble, another huge story. Theo Long's already out, one of Duke's centers, and the other plays with 4 fouls. They've been trying to pound Mark Williams as much as they can. He actually is not on the floor right now as we begin the last 3 minutes and 20 seconds. 66-61. Jay Billis, Carl Ravitch, Holly Rowe here in Ohio State.
Duke with a smaller lineup. Paolo Banchero at the 5 being guarded by E.J. Liddell.
Banchero kicks to the corner. And Baker with 3 on the shot clock. 2. Keels. No good. Banchero went up, and that ball was tipped by Liddell.
Liddell has 12 rebounds in this game. He's not going to get credit for that one, but he controlled it.
Huge trip for Ohio State with 2:45 to go and within 5.
Wendell Moore on Liddell right now. Liddell's had a really good game. Hasn't scored much. 10 points, 12 rebounds. He's got 6 assists.
Oh, Russell had a shot, then he hesitated. Then he knocked it down. A big 3 for Russell. It's a 2-point game.
Cedric Russell's shooting has been a game changer. They needed that shot in the arm.
Duke led this game by 15. Russell has 9. He's hit all 3 of his 3-point field goal attempts.
Got a switch now.
Banchero will get called for the offensive foul.
Bit of a rookie play by Banchero. He had the size advantage, just needed to face up or back him in. But he turned and just went raked right across his face. Now the officials are going to have to look at that, and The test for them were his arms more up than out. I think there's a very good chance this could be a flagrant one. Caught him right across the chin. There's no question that was an offensive foul. The question is, will it be a flagrant one? So if your arms are more up than out, that would be considered a basketball play. But my guess is this is going to be an F1.
Russell, who has
they're just calling an offensive foul.
Been a huge factor tonight, was right up against Banchero. Is this the first? We talked about this at the top of the telecast. Take another look at it.
Yeah, got a switch on the ball screen. And then Russell, I'm surprised that they're not calling this an F. Like 2 years ago, that wasn't even a discussion. If it was above the shoulders, that was an automatic. But they've become much more liberal on that, maybe rightfully so.
You mentioned kind of a rookie play there for the freshman. This is the most hostile environment this group has played in all year, and they're on their feet with 2 to go in a 2-point game.
This might be a good time to post up Liddell.
They do still 13 on the shot clock. Russell threw it up, an air ball blocked. They get Moore, who moved in underneath, and he picks up the foul.
Really good job by Russell of attacking that closeout, because he's been knocking down threes, and that's a good call.
Yeah, he slid a little.
Could have been 2 different guys fouling. The overwhelming majority of secondary defenders sliding in are blocks. Way too many of them are called charges.
Russell with a chance to tie it. He has not taken a free throw tonight.
He's a big-time scorer at Louisiana. Averaged over 16 a game. He's all Sun Belt. Averaged over 17 last year and hit 76 threes. Well, he's used to scoring.
He's been as valuable as anybody on the floor. He missed that free throw, so it's a 1-point game with 1:40 to go.
Moore's going to take on Arms here.
Kick out. Baker had it. Still 10 on the shot clock. Keels will launch. That's short. Liddell rips it away, and Ohio State's got a chance to grab the lead.
Well, Liddell has been so good on the glass. I think that's his 13th rebound in this game.
14, which ties a career high for him.
Just got caught reaching in. That was a smart play to go into his arm. And it's going to be 2 free throws now for E.J. Liddell. When that arm was out, he just went raked right across. A good rip through by E.J. Liddell.
Hasn't led this game since it was 15-13 with 11:09 left in the first half. And it feels like they've been climbing a mountain ever since. We're tied at 66.
He has got such a good shooting touch. Ohio State has really battled in this second half. And a lot of teams would fold up, not Ohio State.
For the lead. Banchero, one-on-one, tough shot, halfway down. Williams working the offensive glass, ripped down by Ohio State. And
got the jump ball, Ohio State's ball. What a rebound by Cedric Russell. For a guard to stick his nose in there and get his nose dirty and grab that rebound, that's big time. What a great rebound.
Been a difference maker in this game. Cedric Russell, 10 points. He's got a couple of rebounds. He does not have a turnover.
Well, no play he's made in this game was bigger than that rebound.
41 seconds left to go. They got to get the ball in, and Chris Holtman said, we need some help down there. Let's get a timeout. Ohio State has been in this situation plenty of times this season. Just go over their last 2 games. Against Seton Hall, Michi Johnson. He hit the game winner with a 3 and 2.3 to go. They knocked off Seton Hall 79-76. A couple of nights later against Florida, they were in another tight one when Tyree Appleby buried a 3 at the buzzer, and the Gators won that 71-68.
And that was a turnover game for Ohio State. They coughed it up 18 times, but yet they were up 7 with under 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, they committed 24 fouls in that game. Florida shot 33 free throws. Back here, fouls have been a huge story. Theo John fouled out, and Williams has been playing with 4. Moore has 4. Banchero has 4.
Right now it's about getting the ball inbounded safely. Duke in a face guard. You got Wheeler and Liddell with Russell inbounding it.
11-second difference between the shot clock at 30 and the game clock at 41.
Wendell Moore still guarding E.J. Liddell. He's going to be down on the baseline.
Jamari Wheeler out top. Liddell, tough shot. Got it! E.J. Liddell up to 14. 14 points, 14 assists. Last 10 seconds. Duke down 3. Banchero launches. That's too long and too strong, and the Buckeyes grab the rebound. With 3 seconds to go, they've come all the way back.
What a gutsy second half by the Buckeyes. Banchero settled for the deep 3, and all 5 Buckeyes went after the defensive rebound. Chris Holtmann has to be very proud of the resiliency his team has shown in this second half.
This can ice the game, and it'll be the 9th time that an unranked Ohio State team will beat a number 1.
It's a double bonus, so he gets 2 free throws.
And that will do it. They lead at 70-66. And Duke's stay atop the polls will be short-lived.
Well, Ohio State, the free throw line was not its friend throughout the course of the game, but down the stretch, when the Buckeyes needed to make free throws, they made them.
Russell has been outstanding. 8 of 9 free throws down the stretch, and down goes number 1. They storm the floor, and this will take away a little of the sting of that Michigan win on the gridiron over Ohio State. And what an attention getter for this fan base here, who generally keeps their focus on football. As Jay said, a gutsy performance. Second half, Duke shot 7 of 31. They shot 22%.
Ohio State tightens up its defense in the second half, rallied to the ball, and everybody rebounded.
Zedke had 20. Liddell went for 14 and 14 with 6 assists.
The handyman, Zedke, went to work.
All right, Holly, go ahead.
A career high for you and a huge upset. Why were you able to be so effective down there in the block?
It's my teammates. They found me in the right spots and they gave me the ball. So it's all my teammates. I'm appreciative of that. And, you know, we came out with the W.
You guys had some trouble in the first half with turnovers. You cleaned it up and you were able to get your defense to lock down. What was the key, did you feel like?
Just to get stops. Just to get stops, you know. We had to limit them in transition, and, you know, we did that, and we came out with the W.
This team has been on the other end of some buzzer beaters, including one of your last games. How does it feel to walk off the floor with a close win?
you know, we come into practice every day, we work hard, and we forget about the last game. So, you know, we did that, and we came out with the W.
Thank you so much.
Well, an undermanned Ohio State team. Chris Holtmann gets the win, 71-66, a 12-0 run to end it. That's our final score, 71-66 for Holly Rowe, Jay Billis. I'm Carl Ravitch. It's time for SportsCenter.